Some of the key benefits to technology-infused learning include a change in the teacher and student role. So teacher can very smoothly become a learner along with the students, and we've seen this time and again as new technologies are brought into the room, that the teacher might say, I need some help thinking about how to use this. Does anybody want to give me some help, or does somebody else want to try and show me something? And it just kind of recalibrates things in the classroom a little bit differently. So it's a genuine, sort of authentic way that the teacher is a learner alongside their students. It also, technology-infused learning can increase the complexity of tasks. And even if we think back to calculator use, for example, that might be true of graphing calculators. Maybe I'm spending more time analyzing the graph rather than making the graph, which is a key sort of higher learning or higher order thinking way of working. Technology also can build collaboration both amongst teachers and amongst students. And so if we're sharing the technology, we're sharing a learning space, and that tends to engender collaboration. It also builds technical skills, which is something we need as we move forward in time, and technology becomes such a key part of our day-to-day lives. There are, of course, some challenges with technology use and learners. For example, there have been studies showing that students who are already having success learning are going to have success learning with technology, but students who struggle with learning may need different kinds of technology or opportunities to use technology in the classroom. For example, a pen that is a smart pen that allows me to audio record as I'm making a diagram might work particularly well for a student who has difficulty recording notes, but understands things visually and can share auditorily. So the technologies also need to adapt to or be adapted to the learners. Some learners are going to be very quick to adapt and adopt online learning, whereas others might need some additional supports. So is there a way to combine the online learning with the classroom learning that maximizes learning for those struggling students as well? There's a lot of adaptive technologies to consider as well. There's a whole field of work to support learners with special needs, and a big role to play there for technology. There's an interesting study that was done at the Columbia College Research Center, and they had a very large database from Washington State of online learners. And what they found out in that study was that students who were already successful learners in the classroom were successful online learners. They did as well. But the students who were struggling in the classroom did worse in the online courses. So we need to be really thoughtful about how we approach technology uses, and sort of this big sort of swipe that, gee, this one way of working with technology is going to work for everyone is just not the case. There are some equity issues with technology. Lack of access is a key issue here around the cost of the affordability or cost of technologies, and availability in schools seems to be somewhat uneven at this point. And so for some students, they may go home and have lots of access to technology at home and lots of access to technology at school. For other students, they may only have access in some locations and not others, either at home or at school. And so just that access issue is one thing we need to be very careful about and proactive about in terms of educational settings. What are we going to do with that to level the playing field and engage our students who do not have as much access as much as possible? And that's actually a very big commitment that is systematic, provincial, federal, requires a lot of will and focus. The thing about bring your own device to school is even there are pedagogical decisions to be making around shared technology. So if we do have an interactive whiteboard, that is a shared space for everyone, and we want to get everybody up there using it in special ways. And many of our teachers have been working on ways to make sure that all students have access to the smartboard. It's not a tool for the teacher, actually it's a learning tool for the students. So how do we get students using the interactive whiteboard? But that's the same with handhelds. You know, if some students are bringing in handhelds, how can we have pairs work, small group work, where the technology is there to support the learning, but there's some collaboration occurring simultaneously? And that tends to be one way to really think about leveling out access.